What is up, guys? It is Quinn here, and in this video, I'm going to be running through my Week 17 defense and kicker rankings. So this is going to be my last rankings video of the week. If you guys haven't checked out the running backs, wide receivers, or the tight end and quarterback videos, those are all up on my channel if you guys are interested. If you enjoy the content, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're getting super close to 4,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the support throughout the entire season. And if you guys have any fantasy questions, I will respond to everyone if you drop your comment down below. But let's just jump right into the rankings, starting it off with the defense here. And I really think there are a lot of solid streaming options this week and just, some top heavy matchups also. I think we got to start it off here with the Cowboys taking on the Titans. This Tennessee Titans offense is probably going to be, pretty much anemic. Malik Willis at quarterback, Derrick Henry doubtful. Like, this could be a very, very ugly game. I think the Cowboys could put up a ton of points, for their defense. Then at number 2, we have another very, very top option. The 49ers going up against the Raiders. Raiders came out, they're benching Derek Carr, so they're rolling with Stidham. I think this is another matchup that could get really ugly. Probably the top defense in the NFL, in a plus matchup. The offense was already struggling. Now you're rolling with the inexperienced backup. Love the 49ers this week. Now at 3, I have the Ravens taking on the Steelers. Ravens defense playing at a pretty high level. I think in general, both of these defenses are probably going to have some success. It's probably going to be a pretty grimy game. So I like the Ravens here at 3. Obviously a pretty significant drop off from the Cowboys and the Niners, but still a really strong option. Then at 4, I have the Chiefs going up against the Broncos. This is, a lot about just playing the matchup here. Broncos offense has just been sorry all season long. Chiefs, have actually looked semi-decent defensively as of late. Believe they had a pretty solid game against the Seahawks. So Chiefs, I have them here at 4. At 5, I'm rolling with the Eagles. I know they kind of got lit up by the Cowboys, but a pretty significant drop-off in offense going from the Cowboys now to the Saints. 6, I have the Giants going up against the Colts. Colts offense, probably one of the worst in the league, bottom 5, bottom 3. Seems like they're tanking and rolling with Nick Foles, so I do like the Giants here. Another team with a great matchup, Jaguars going up against the Texans. Texans, probably also a bottom 3 offense. Jaguars looked decent defensively last week against the Jets. Obviously, it was against Zach Wilson, so maybe take that with a grain of salt. But I still think they're a solid mid-tier defense, a mid-tier defensive one, I guess. And then at 8, I have the Buccaneers. Obviously played a pretty decent game against the Cardinals. They draw a matchup here against the Panthers. I think it's likely that this is a grimy game and the Panthers aren't going to be able to do a ton. Obviously, the Panthers want to run the ball. Bucs historically and even this season have been very strong against the run. There's always the slight chance that this Buccaneers team just collapses. We've seen it a few times this season, but I still would bet on them, kind of keeping the Panthers in check here. At 9, Steelers going up against the Ravens. Ravens without Lamar Jackson have just been playing at a very, very low level. So I like the Steelers as a top 10 defense. 10, I have the Chargers going up against the Rams. I've talked about this in a few different videos. I'm not totally bought in on this Rams offense. I know they went out, they just massacred the Broncos defense that had been pretty successful. But all season long, this has been a pretty bad unit. I wouldn't be shocked if they go out there and show like serious regression. We've also seen this Chargers defense actually look pretty solid over the past few weeks. So I like them at number 10. Number 11, I have the Commanders taking on the Browns. The Browns offensively have been rough since Deshaun Watson returned. 12, Patriots going up against the Dolphins. This is obviously the Dolphins without Tua. In that game, you're obviously hoping that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle don't just go nuclear after the catch. 13, I have the Falcons. Not a defense that I have a ton of trust in, but it's more so just fading this Cardinals offense. 14, I talked about the Commanders at 12. At 11, at 14, I have the reverse. I have the Broncos taking on the Commanders. Commanders opting to go back to Carson Wentz. Browns defensively have been pretty solid. And then to wrap up the top 15, I have the Jets going up against the Seahawks. We'll see what team kind of wins out here. Seahawks have been a pretty strong offense. Jets obviously have been very strong defensively. So that's going to wrap it up for my top 15 defenses. And now moving over to my top 15 kickers. We're going to start it off here with Harrison Butker. I think the Chiefs are going to go out. They're going to put up points against this Broncos team, and that's going to give Harrison Butker a ton of opportunities. Same thing applies here at number 2 with Brett Maher. I think the Cowboys are going to put up a lot of points against this Titans team, giving Maher a lot of opportunities. And then actually at 3 and 4, I have back-to-back kickers in the same matchup, Tyler Bass and Evan McPherson. even though both of these defenses are pretty solid, I'd be expecting some sort of like 27-24 game. So I think there will be opportunities for both of these guys, and both kickers just, in the grand scheme of things are very solid. 5, I have Cameron Dicker. You want to be on an offense that's going to score a decent number of points. Chargers haven't been firing on all cylinders, but I still think he's a decent option here. 6, we have Graham Gano. He's been a pretty solid option all season long. Colts defense is pretty solid, but in general, I think the Giants are going to be able to kind of scrape enough points across the board that Graham Gano can give you a solid day. 7, I have Justin Tucker. I think I had Tucker at like 2 or 3 prior to the news that Lamar missed another practice. In general, Tucker's kind of fallen off since Lamar Jackson hasn't been out there. Obviously, we know he's the best kicker in the NFL. He's had, a few misses as of late. Not panicking in that department, more so panicking in the fact that this offense has just been really, really rough. At 8, I have Nick Folk. Just consistently gets opportunities to give you solid production. 9, I have Michael Badgley from the Lions going up against the Bears. I've talked about this in a few different videos. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this Lions-Bears matchup, giving Badgley a solid number of field goal attempts or just extra points if they're getting into the end zone. 10, I have Robbie Gould. Another game that I think is going to be high scoring, at least on one side, with the Raiders being, a pretty rough defense, and then also the fact that the Raiders offensively are probably going to be rough. Then at 11, I actually have the Raiders kicker, Daniel Carlson. Obviously, in terms of, top kickers in the NFL, he's very talented. He has the huge leg. You're just kind of hoping that this Raiders offense can get into field goal range a few times, let him go 2 for 2, 3 for 3, maybe with a 40-yard 50-yard something in that area. 12, Greg Joseph going up against the Packers. Big divisional matchup there. Obviously, Vikings offense has been playing at a high level. Hopefully, they continue to put up a solid number of points. 13, I have Younghoe Koo going up against the Cardinals. This is probably going to be a gross matchup here, but I do think Younghoe Koo can scrape across a few field goal attempts. 14, Ryan Suckup going up against the Panthers. Suckup kind of has some clear pros and cons. I think the pros for him are that the Bucs are very, very passive offensively. They don't go for it in a lot of situations where they should. So that gives Suckup extra opportunities where other offenses, may just try to go for it to get for the touchdown, which would be the smart play a lot of times. The Bucs just don't do it. The downside is that he's pretty much a zero outside of 50 yards. I think his splits this year are like 1 miss inside 50, and then I think he's like 2 for 6 outside of 50. So, a give and a take there. And then at 15, I have Jason Myers going up against the Jets. So that is going to wrap it up for my defense and kicker rankings. As always, these are pretty tough to predict. So, if you're looking at these and you wanted to go in a different direction, like as long as the, difference isn't massive, I think you guys should be rolling with your gut. You don't want to, miss out on a player because you just blindly followed these. But hopefully these can help you, maybe target some guys off waivers or just kind of lock in your opinions. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you all in the next one.